What's going on, guys? It's Shawnee Salami. Today we're doing another player spotlight series. Today we're playing with the two best spear players in the world, helpmestepbow and RecoveringBanker. They're my favorite couple in this game. They're so cute when they talk to each other. They're boyfriends in real life, and I'm 100% kidding, but they are really good friends. And they chose the same weapon to play together, which is pretty cool. And here you're going to see me change my settings because I've been messing around with them. And just so I can at least attempt to keep up with these guys, I switched them back to my usual ones instead of just trying new things. Spoiler alert, as you'll see, it does not work. These lobbies are a joke to these guys because they're the best spear players in the world at competitive as well. So they honestly don't care. They're not even trying. And you're going to see the straight up disrespect it looks like when these two are together side by side playing. The game will fill up, by the way. It's pretty low player count right now. And unlike the video with Lousy and Spicy Pancakes, I could actually tell you a little bit more about how these guys play because they're smarter than those two. There really isn't saying much. The strongest hammer in the toolbox, as the expression goes. Now, you may think of spear players as guys that just hide behind their teammates, stabbing through them when that was an option with heavy stabs, as we just see RecoveringBanker get absolutely destroyed by a ballista. Banker invented the style in this game of jumping in the air and stabbing to get around people's blocks. Now, when bankers started doing this, and others caught on as well, they started to limit spears in competitive play. Before this, I believe there was no real limit, and now there's a limit of 2 in each game. So when you see those clans fighting, there is a limit, and that's really just testament to how they've mastered this. Stepbow was explaining to me it doesn't really help as much now that there's changes. I forget what exactly it was changed, but they said that they still do it for the style points, especially in lobbies like this, where they don't even care about winning because they get so many kills in this that it's not going to matter anyway. And it's just funny because when you talk to these comp guys, they get their fun out of winning those. This is not really interesting to them, especially when it's players of that caliber that are also topping those lobbies. And I haven't died yet, so Stepbow's going to try and keep me deathless. He's my guy, by the way, or as we jokingly say, my dog. He's one of my closest friends in this game at this point. Banker, on the other hand, I thought hated me because when I was asking him to do this, he was sending me the shortest text messages. I thought I did something to this guy. He's actually very nice once I was in voice chat with him during this, but definitely was judging him hard for that horrible texting style. You guys all know people that text like this. Really testament to them as the good people that they are, that Banker had no problem doing this, and Stepbow has befriended me in a really cool way. Same thing with Lousy, as I mentioned. They're two of my close friends in this game, despite being in another world as a player as me. Friendships in this game are what keeps me coming back to it. It's really unique in that way. There's some players, a lot of players actually, that do competitive, where their egos are out of control. But that's why I love the Equilibrium clan that they built together, because you don't see that with them. I've talked about it before. They're my favorite clan to interact with, and just all around good guys. And because those two are two of the leaders of it, you really kind of follow, their members follow that example, and they recruit the right people. They've told me privately that there's players that are good enough that they'd like to have, but if they don't fit the vibe, they don't let them in. Unlike the last player spotlight with the two guys I mentioned, Lousy and Spicy, I'm working with two players in this game that actually have functioning brains, so I do a better job of sticking by them, and you'll definitely be able to see that jumping style I talk about, how they move around, and it's really crazy. There's a few spots where they're together where the game just looks so easy to them, and that's kind of what they were telling me, that the stat lines you'll see at the end, that's another day at the office for them in a pub. It's a whole different game that they're playing. By the way, the Discord will be in the pinned comment as always. Definitely feel free to check that out. They're both in there. Stepbow's a big part of it. By the way, I didn't play too well in this one, but it's more about the other players, not me in this one. Give me a pass for that. Anyway, let's get into the gameplay. I'll give you some tips on mistakes I make or things I do well. And I'm really going to point out the different things they do because, as I said, we are by each other much better in this one. So Stepbow has the trainer role in my Discord, and he wants to teach this guy a good lesson. That's if you get downed and you're next to someone, especially by water. You want to suicide and hold whatever button you can. Otherwise, you're going to get kicked around and into the water. Not exactly my thing, but that's what I do to archers. I don't think he meant any disrespect, by the way. It just kind of looks funny when you do it. Here I'm going to get a little too aggressive. We're kind of all fighting this one guy, and I exposed my back to the other team. Not a good call there, but check this out. Stepbow sees his friend in trouble, and he's going to come back me up. Counter those stabs so I can stay alive, because at this point I still haven't died. I did get into a hot start. Now you think I'm going to get killed here, but they do such a good job of trying to keep me alive. He's going to hold that guy off. And what you want to do is exactly what Stepbow did there, is if you see someone downed, you do not get them up right away. You want to make sure they're safe before you do, because if you go for the revive, you're going to get locked into an animation and likely get both of you killed. It's something that drives me a little crazy. I know your intentions are good if you just go for the immediate revive, but it really kind of gets both of you killed. So just keep that in mind when you see a down teammate. This is a very dumb moment. I really don't know what I was thinking, especially because I could have gone deathless before this. I'm going to go right next to the water, jump down into a 1vx with a longsword. Not a great call. I actually do manage to almost survive, but great overhead, and that'll be that. Right here, I'm going to turn away from the stab because I know that I'm going to get hit, and I'm already locked into my block that I'm doing. So that's a good thing you can do very subtly. Is I'm going to look like a level 1 bot. I hold block a few times. Now this happens when I'm on voice chat. It's a rant I'm going to go on pretty soon at the beginning of a video. If you see me die a lot and have a bad game in a pub, it's usually because I'm talking to friends, and that's what we were doing. We were all in voice chat together while we recorded this. I'm really not the smartest guy, and I do have diagnosed ADHD, so it's hard for me to do a little bit of things at once when I'm focusing too much on conversation or focusing too much on the game. And Stepbow is a bad influence. We're going to do what he did, but at least I only kicked him once. This is smarter than what I was doing before, is trying to stay in between my teammates and get some stabs in. And we're gonna see my favorite part of this video, and the stabbing jumping thing on full display while they're next to each other. So here they come in. I'm gonna get downed in just a moment here, and they're gonna come save the day. I have no words for this. Look what they're gonna do. I'm just gonna sit back. I'll do a Begamote, get yet another heal from these guys. That's crazy, the kind of things they're able to do, especially when they're together. Again, I'm trying to pick my spots here, just stab when I can, stay with the team a little bit, go back for heals. I didn't even have to bandage that much in this one because of all the med kits these guys were throwing me. And this guy's going to get behind us. This isn't a good decision. It looks like a cool clip when you get behind the whole team and start throwing your Dane axe around with some slashes, but it never really works. It's not like the movies when you see these things. Honestly though, if you do want to go for it, I ain't judging, because the one time it's going to work out of 10, you're going to get a clip that you could put on YouTube or show your friends where you look a lot more skilled than it likely took. Again, look how he gets behind people, jumps on that bush, and then kind of flanks a little bit just to get that stab around the block. I start off on a good fight with the Morningstar person, but when you're getting in a 1vx against multiple one-handers, it's always trouble. But the team does come, and I'm able to separate them a little bit and go toe-to-toe with this guy and get that fight done, but teammates will make sure it won't survive for much longer. At this point, we're going to go off to the side a little bit. We're not really concerned with the win too much, because I can influence a public lobby by myself, but these guys can win a game with maybe the worst teammates possible, still get that done. We don't want to assault the church too quickly. Our teammates come to help us in a 1vx, but you'll never guess what happens next. Skipping a little bit ahead here, we're now down to a minute and a half. So Stepbow and Banker are having a conversation in the voice chat like, I guess we should probably finish the church now, right? Let's get that done. And they get up here in a second, lead the charge, and it's just, it's a joke to them. It really is. We are going to assault the church and get that done as soon as they say they're going to, while we're all communicating. And it's just that easy for them. I know I'm glazing a little bit, but that's really just how they are able to influence these games. Really much going on. I didn't do a good job of sticking near them, so I skipped ahead a little bit. I got a few kills and maybe about 2 deaths, but now we're going to desecrate the tomb, and it's just that easy when you have a team like this. During a group fight, we're going to put up some videos here. This is another player spotlight with the 2 best console players, Lousy and Spicy Pancakes. Check out their stat lines. They kind of got competitive with each other. I'm going to put those up as soon as they secure that win. Just absolutely absurd stuff. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.